All right, welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to talk about how a pizza cost me thousands. It's a weird title, but we'll circle back around to that. What we're actually talking about today is intake. And what I want to tell you is, I guess, sort of my top 3 tips, must do, shall do for intake. Again, I've been doing this for a very long time. I don't advertise. I stay busy, so my intake must work. Let's see what I do. Number 1, when you get a lead, follow up on it right then. Don't schedule a future intake call. Don't send an email trying to set something up for later. Call them. Get on the phone right then and call them or take the call, right? So I do have a reception service that I use, and they will put the call through. Sometimes I'm on another call, but I call them right back. If I'm doing something or I'm in a hearing, I call a prospective client as soon as humanly possible. All right? So call them. They don't want to wait. Like back in the day, you could do that, right? You didn't know a lawyer. You didn't know how to find a lawyer. You would be at the mercy of the attorney. Not anymore, my friend. We've got the internet. So Google it. If you don't know a lawyer, you can find one online. So they just find the next guy who can deal with their question, answer their question right now, or at least make them feel warm and fuzzy for a minute. People have zero patience nowadays. And by people, I mean me. All right, so back to the pizza. On Sunday, I got an email for a construction litigation case. Sweet. I'm good at this. I love construction. I had the course in law school taught by an attorney who became a judge, whose entire family and background is construction. I know liens. I know negligence. I'm the lawyer for this job. Well, fast forward to Monday. So I took care of some pressing client matters. I was about to call them back. And I was like, oh, yeah, we're going to have pizza tomorrow, meaning today. I got to make the dough. So I make the dough in advance, put it in the fridge, right? It's got to sit, rise, the whole thing. Very Italiano. So I go downstairs. I start making the dough. I forgot about the call that I was in my head. I was going to make this call before noon. I was going to deal with some of the things that I had to get out the door, but I was like, I got to call this person before noon. I should have called them at 9 a.m. because that's the rule, as soon as you possibly can. Anyway, so at 3 p.m., when I remembered that I was supposed to call this prospective client, I called. They had already paid for, retained, and hired alternate counsel. Oops, I forgot to follow rule number 1. Call the client immediately, all right? Rule number 2 for intake. Automate your intake. It's the perfect follow-up to rule number 1 because speed is the key. So if it's a pain in the ass to send the retainer agreement, the link to pay, get the client's personal details, you're going to be delaying the process of getting retained. That's the opposite of rule number 1. Call the client, get it going, get retained immediately, right? So make it easy. Stop making it hard on you and the client. So I have a setup with an automated fee agreement, automated signature for the fee agreement. The process I use creates the fee agreement for me. I plug in the retainer amount, the name of the client, the type of the case, and my software will kick out a PDF, which I then send over with Adobe Sign. Done. I don't have to chase anybody. You can even set reminders on Adobe Sign. I've got a folder set for each new file. I've got a Zapier integration, which automatically creates an email in a folder in Outlook for the new client, as well as puts a folder on my PC for their documents. I spend, 5 minutes doing this. I used to spend 30 minutes or more putting this together. Make your intake easy. Make your website easy, right? Put a contact form. Put your phone number. Put your firm email. Put a link to pay. Don't make people chase information. Make it easy for them, right? If they want to pay by credit card, have a link on your website, right? If they want to pay by cash, have a place they can go. You should, even if you work from home, have a virtual office. In Michigan, we've got Regus and Americenters. I use Americenter. There's maybe only 4 or 5 of those locations, but it literally costs me $65 for a premium address. I used to have a physical office in this same address that I paid, $5,000 a month so that I would have a square box with which to meet with clients. I don't need that. So for $65, get yourself an address. If I need a conference room, this particular place costs me like $30 an hour. So get WeWork, get Regus, get something, get whatever, something else, but make it convenient. If they want to meet with you and you're into that kind of thing, have a place, right? Make it easy to drop off documents. I also have a software for a document repository. I'll tell you about that another day. So they can upload, I can request, and they can send me documents. Make it easy. Did I mention that you need to make it easy for the client? Anyway, all right. Last tip for today is be informative. Be personable in the intake, right? So you're kind of teetering on informative nerd and personable hire me lawyer, right? So this will take some time to sort of hone in your intake, the jokes that you can slip in, the one-liners. So for example, when I have a family law case, I always, if I have the female client, I always say, tell me a little more about Prince Charming. And that is a phrase that I find nearly every single female client will at least giggle at, even if they're a domestic violence abuse victim, because then it jumps off that conversation. They're like, oh, let me tell you about Prince Charming, right? So there are little one-liners that I find are very, very helpful, right? Ask ChatGPT to give you some one-line sentences that you can use for, family law intake or for construction litigation or whatever it might be. But definitely get yourself a script so that when you are at a loss for things to say, you have something to fall back on. All right, quite frankly, I'm busy. I'm not begging for work, and that confidence works. So the other thing is exude confidence. Even if you have no confidence and you have no clue what you're doing, fake it till you make it, all right? It's really a thing, and it really matters. You will find this whether it's in your law practice or dating or life in general. If you exude confidence, it will change the game. In any event, back to intake. So I have a new pricing model since I've been going solo, which is a far larger retainer because I need to pare down the clients so that I only take the best, most profitable clients because I don't have time for anything else. If I have extra time, I'm using it to live my life, not sit in my law practice, right? So why am I not begging for work? It's because of my intake, right? Because most people that talk with me end up retaining me. What do you do, Katrina? Tell me more. I will. All right, so I make sure that I give them useful information in the intake. I'm not hiding anything like the process or the likely results or what they could do on their own or what my potential strategy might be given the limited information I have right now. I give it away. I let them see that I'm knowledgeable, and then they want more of that knowledge because the other lawyers they're talking to are selling their services. They're trying to hook them in and get that money, and I literally tell them, use me, use someone else. You probably need a lawyer. It doesn't matter who you pick because you just have to have representation because you don't know how to navigate the system. But whoever you're going to pick someone you feel confident with. Pick someone that you can work with. I'd interview at least 3 attorneys to figure out who really understands you and your needs. And for whatever reason, that seems to resonate with people. The fact that I'm telling them, go talk to other lawyers. Who knows? I might be full of it, right? But in any event, they often do not interview attorney 2 or 3 because they feel comfortable and safe with me because I gave them information. I told them I might not be the right attorney for you. And that's really quite true. I'm not the warm, fuzzy kind of lawyer. I'm a no bullshit, no nonsense. Let's get to the point. I hear your argument. I hear what you're talking about. It's not a thing. You need to resolve this or you need to whatever, take this to trial, have a mediation. I don't know. But I definitely put it in their mind that they need to do a cost-benefit analysis. And while I am here to make money, I would be just taking your money if I continue to advance that position. Have you thought about this, right? So there is some value in saying, go look for some other lawyers because I think it makes them feel far more comfortable with you. I care about solving your problem, not about filling my pocketbook, right? I'm not totally sure what other guys are saying during the intake, but it can't be much useful information because when I do my intake with somebody who's already spoke to somebody, they're like, oh, wow, That's great to know. I'm like, how could somebody not mention that already in an intake? Anyway, so my formula is ask them questions about their case, let them get out what they need to get out. If they're calling a lawyer, they got a story to tell. Let them tell their story. If it's rambling on, I will cut them off and ask some more direct and strategic question to keep them on track. But let them feel heard, right? Then I give them the rundown of how it's going to happen, what's the likely result, what's the position or strategy I see from the get-go. And although it might change as I learn about your case, this is how I perceive your matter going, right? This is how I would handle your matter. Be useful. People want data. They're not calling you for their health. And a lot of times they can't afford you. So if they can't afford you, that's fine. You still want to treat them like they're top dollar because they might have a friend who can afford you. And one happy intake can lead to a dozen happy clients. What's the worst case scenario, right? If you do this long intake and they don't hire you, all right, well, you practice thinking on your feet. You've fleshed out a strategy. So when it comes to being in court, you're that much better at crafting a winning argument with about 10 seconds of prep time, right? So take every intake call that you can, work as hard as you can to give them data, be useful, and you should get more retainers that way. So that's my 3 intake tips and why making a pizza instead of calling back a client could cost you thousands. Don't forget, practice smarter.